Hey guys, welcome back to another Skyrim mods video. This one is just pretty simple for me, but it is the best armor mods of 2025, or at least the ones that I really enjoyed. If you end up finding an armor that you like or maybe you missed, hit that like button down below and don't forget to endorse mod authors. But without further ado, let's dive right in. I hope you guys enjoy. And now we have a new unisex armor with the name Blacksted Ebony Armor Mashup, coming with two armors to equip, and the most advanced version, the one that you'll want to be using, is a unisex one featuring a darkened steel ebony armor that kind of fits a medieval style playthrough. It comes installed with its own custom HDT physics, so you do need that mod. When you equip the armor as well as the cloak, which can be unequipped, it provides no armor benefit. It's simply for style or warmth if you have a survival mod. But there is a second part to this mod with the same name but goes by prototype armor. This one is strictly male only based on the mod page. Honestly, I probably should have tested it on female characters just to see what happens, but I trusted the mod author. And you probably already knew based on the title, but these armors are heavy and have ebony tier stats, if not a little more. There's no special dungeon to obtain this armor either. If you want it, you just simply craft it at a crafting station once you get the ebony smithing perk. Up next, a new take on a Dawnbreaker. This mod is called Voice of Dawn, giving the Dawnbreaker a Meridia's beacon effect. As you wield the weapon doing certain actions, she will speak to you in 30-second cooldown intervals, just so you aren't spammed. And because this is an audio mod, I kind of have to let you listen.
Purged. Purged.
Ignore my skeletons.
Her light claims you. The light demands action. The light grows impatient. The light demands action. You dare sheathe me? Wield me and burn them. You store me like common steel? You store me like common steel? You insolent worm! You insolent worm! Walk in the light. Meridia's champion does not hide. These walls will tremble before our radiance. Mud, iron, and greed. A trifecta of misery.
Honestly, I feel like this should have been part of the vanilla weapon when Skyrim first came out, so I'm glad to see someone finally implemented it. It's very immersive in my opinion. But I guess immersion is pretty subjective. Up next, a very simple mod, at least when compared to the prior mod, but this mod is called Mercenary Outfit. I believe that's how you say it. That is a very complicated name to say out loud without stuttering for me. But it adds a new outfit to the game for female characters, but it can also be used with himbo for male characters as well. It also features multiple different colors and can be distributed to NPCs or bought from them with the SPID or Skypatcher file in the optional section. I currently have other outfits SPID to most NPCs, but at least it showed up on Carlotta. This mod features multiple color variants that all have their own custom HDT for when your character moves, meaning it can also work on NPCs that wear this outfit. So that is one thing to look out for if you have a lower end PC like mine's. Well, some people don't consider it lower end, but it can destroy your FPS. Honestly, it's mods like these that we really need to blow up because Skyrim has tons of armors, but one thing that we are missing is vanilla clothing replacers. Like, there's still no good minor clothing replacer, but at least now we have one for the merchants. Moving on to the next mod, which is in the thumbnail, so this is not clickbait, but this mod is called Viper Armor, a female only armor that comes with patches for B-Hump, 3BA, and also CBBE. And if you even want to go further, you can also have this mod replace the armors in the Dark Brotherhood, but of course female only. And this armor is very modular, like I've never seen anything like this. But if you want to obtain it, there's no special quest or requirements. All you have to do is get the materials needed and then go to the Skyforge. There's no special reason behind this based on the mod page, it's just easier to manage. And as you're currently seeing, there is 3 different item color variants. And even though there's only 3 different outfits, there's about 60 items total. I didn't read the exact number of items on the mod page, but there's definitely over 10 for each different color. So I just rounded up to 60 somehow. But the more modular it is, the more you can just customize it to your liking and make this as skimpy as you want it to be. And if you want to see how skimpy this can be, I did put that on my Patreon for the people that would be interested in that, because this armor is set up so that you need the entire set or else your character will have a little bit of clipping. But moving on to the next mod, which is a weapon replacer for a boring vanilla weapon. This mod is called StormFang, truly unique. Honestly, I really love Gandalf the Cat mods at this point, but it replaces a two-handed greatsword weapon that comes in the Dragonborn DLC with the new unique mesh texture and also new effects. Not only is the weapon animated, it has its own custom textures and engraving, as well as a new stack effect when you're currently fighting and hitting enemies. As you hit them, you may notice the glow on the sword increasing with each hit, or maybe that was just the lighting, but it definitely got cooler the more I used it. And because it's a two-handed sword made for the Dragonborn DLC, it's pretty overpowered. The effect attached to the sword is based on destruction, and it will increase the shock damage done on hit at each 20 level interval of destruction. And if you hit enemies 25 times in total, you'll get a shock explosion as well as a lightning cloak applied to your character. And this effect can be stacked continuously depending on how many times you hit them within 30 seconds before the effect wears off. And if you were wondering, based on the mod page, it also works for followers if you want to give them this cool weapon, just in case you have something better. And like I said, to get it, you just go to Broder's Grove in Dragonborn. The first mod bringing us to the Hall of the Vigilant for probably the smallest mod of this video. This mod is called Radiance by John Skyrim, featuring a new mace that has a Allied stone, if I said that right, let me know down in the comments, that is slotted into the top of the mace and also the bottom. This mod features 1K textures up to 4K, whichever you choose to download, and for the showcase I am using the 4K version. But before you obtain the Radiance mace, you have to go through a short adventure and quest bringing you to multiple locations. Where the Stendar Shrine is in vanilla, this location isn't added by the mod, and after praying, a ghost will appear guiding you on the quest to the next location and then the next one. This quest does have quest markers, but if you just listen to the dialogue of the ghost that you summon every time that you pray at the shrine, you will easily be able to find the next location. But some of the locations are a little harder to get to than other ones, with the Twin Pillars being the very last location that you have to visit, and after that you'll obtain an item called the Radiating Stone, and then you just have to take it back to the Hall of the Vigilant where everything started. From there is another small quest that takes place with a bunch of dialogue that you have to go through. But of course I won't be spoiling everything about this quest mod. But back to the mace at hand, because this mace is pretty useful. You can toggle the light on and off, but if you equipped it, it will also just turn on automatically. You can also have the option to change the light color with certain buttons. And if you think the light is too bright, you can also go through and change the radius that the light activates. But the most useful feature is that with the mod, you can also change it to a two-handed warhammer instead of just being a mace. You can only switch it between two-handed and one-handed with the weapon unequipped, so you won't be doing it in the middle of combat, though that would make it pretty cool. There's no special added features between the two, well of course besides the damage difference of using a two-handed versus a one-handed weapon. And aside from the light changes that this mace comes with, it is technically unenchanted, but it does have a description, and it counts as a silver weapon. So by the time in-game rolls around, this can be the ultimate Daedra killer. Or you can just use it like a lamp and just light up caves if you want to do it that way, but that's pretty boring. The next mod up, just because I wanted to give this mod author a shout out for making their first mod and it actually being amazing. We have the mod Frost Druid, which you can find in Dragon's Reach balcony inside of a chest based on the description, because I used an add item menu, which I do for most armors. But this armor, as you can see, and based on the title unless you missed it, is a unisex frost based Druid armor. Fully standalone, not replacing anything, but I do think it would make a great stall room replacer. But this armor also comes with a few accessory parts and a few weapons like the Warhammer, which has no special name, it's just simply called Warhammer. But then you have the Frost Lord staff, which was probably obvious by the name. Either way, moving on. This mod also comes with its own new custom spell that summons a new ice steed that does use the same animations as a horse, so you don't have to worry about anything weird happening when riding it. The weirdest part about the horse is that it has no joints, or flesh, or muscles. It's just a floating pile of ice, but I guess magic is a thing in Skyrim, so I guess it makes sense in terms of fantasy. But it is freaky for me to look at, but also a little cool. The mod author does have another armor I wanted to showcase here, but maybe in another video when I have more time. This is just because I really like the armor and the armor that this mod author is currently in the making of. And it's just one of their first ones, with the Owl Druid being the other one that I highly recommend. Or that until I had this mod. But this mod is called Elven Sentry Armor. At first I didn't want to review this mod because of the skimpiness, but after using it, I see that it's actually kind of amazing. Besides the legs showing, there's pretty much nothing wrong with this armor. Whether we like to admit it or not, the Elder Scrolls has always had skimpy armor, and it fits right into what Bethesda always has done. If anything, I still think the Forsworn took it too far. This armor comes with support for 3BA, it also has SMP physics, and if you don't know what that means, it means it moves when your character moves or moves with the wind. And if you want to be a unique person and use UBE, this mod also has an inbuilt patch for it when you install the mod. Fair warning for the people new to modding, or at least new to armor mods like this, you do have to build your body before joining in game, or else your character will just be a floating head depending on how many items you have equipped. It won't appear in game until you build it. And as you're seeing, it comes with multiple different color variants, about 3. Nothing special between the 3, just all cosmetic, and can be crafted at any forge after you find the crafting manual in the Understone Keep. And I'm pretty sure by the time this video comes out, someone will have made a SPID or a Skypatcher file that gives it to certain NPCs. Probably the most popular armor on this list, we have the Master Thief Armor, featuring a unisex 4K armor that centers around being a thief or, in my opinion, an assassin. Coming with multiple pieces to complete the set, and 3 different color variants to mix and match if you so choose, or you can just be a regular person and go with the full set. The dagger accessory that you're seeing on the back is purely an accessory. You cannot use it as a weapon, it's just to make you look cool. The main part that I like about this armor is the fact that it is unisex, and because it is unisex, it still looks great on male characters. Generally, it looks a little clunky or weird on male characters because it's mainly made for female characters, and they just port to male. And this armor itself does not come with HDT support. That is a separate patch that I also have downloaded. And if you so choose in optional files, you can also have this armor distributed to named or generic thief characters that are part of the Thieves Guild. Speaking of the Dawnbreaker, if you want to go for a more simple mod, we have the mod Dawnbreaker Redux. This is just simply a remesh and retexture of the Dawnbreaker. That shouldn't really break anything in your game, considering it's just textures. The most that may happen with this mod is that you may see it clip more into enemies because the sword is longer now, and because it has wings on the hilt, it might clip into your character a few times, but other than that, up next, taking a turn on fancy, we have the mod Iron Rose Armor, a mod that I also previously showcased. This armor is also unisex, but this is one of the mods that I mentioned looks a lot better on female characters. It features a very modular armor that you can mix and match, so this armor can become a little skimpy if you don't equip certain parts. But if you have the full set, then it'll look like this, and there will be no skin showing, so for those people that hate skin showing on female armors, this one will be for you. And just like the other mods, this one also has 3 different color variants. It doesn't itself come with HDT, that is also a separate mod. But like I said, it also is unisex, so you can wear it on male characters without taking any extra steps. But in my opinion, it does look a lot better on female characters. But in my opinion, it's the thought that counts. On to our next mod, which is purely a female only armor. We have the Roaming Girl's Attire, which has been updated periodically from the first time that I've updated it, featuring a 4-piece set that is also installed with ACT, so you do need that mod installed or else this will clip into the ground. But as I mentioned, it has been updated over time, adding different variants to the main coat that will move with the wind, and you can also have this armor equipped and crafted with the same requirements. These are all purely cosmetic. There's no stat difference. This one I would say is closer to clothing than armor, but still I decided to feature it, just like this next mod called Sena. Well, it's mainly called Sena. ELLE is part of the mod author's name, but it features a HDT female only armor that, as you can see, moves pretty great in the wind. None of the clothing really clips into the character when you walk, and it looks pretty good. But unlike the previous armor sets, this one also comes with its own custom bow, but not custom arrows, just the custom bow, which works perfectly fine for me because it's still a weapon. And you do need something to make sure that your character's heels doesn't clip into the ground, because this armor doesn't offer a flat boots option, but at least it does offer multiple color variants for those that don't prefer green. Even though green is my favorite color, but still some don't like it. To obtain this armor, you do have to find a crafting book inside of Riften, which is shown on the mod page, and then you can craft it at pretty much any forge that you can think of. Up next, one of my personal favorites, we have the Wandering Mercenary Armor. Also an armor that is highly modular, and I believe that this one is unisex, but I believe it looks a lot better on male characters. And unlike previous armors, rather than just being modular, this armor is modular but also offers a tiered aspect to the armor, so you'll go from just looking normal clothing with a little bit of armor to being a full-on knight, and also switching up the colors if you so prefer. This next armor goes by the name Sigrin Silver Fox Armor by Dark Duckla. That's what the DD stands for in the title, I just included it in the title here. Every part of this armor can be equipped or unequipped, and you can also have certain parts of the belt not on the character. It offers tons of different options for mixing and matching this armor, but unfortunately it is female only, but I definitely see a lot of people loving this armor. I try to keep these short, but this next armor mod is called Gladiator Armor. This one originally is only for female characters, but if you want, there is a himbo patch so that male characters can wear it also. You just don't want to wear the bra part if you want to make it make sense. This armor does not come with any shield or weapon if you are wondering, because on the mod page, it does show a sword and weapon, but it does not include that. It only comes as is. This next armor though definitely features a lot more than a previous. It features a craftable 3BA and also UBE if you happen to be using it. Heavy armor that also comes with this on weapon that we'll get into a little bit later, because every single set between this, and there is 3 different variants between the armors that you could tell by the metal parts of the armor changing, and also a little bit of the colors of the armor. One of the armor glints kind of look iron, while the other one looks orcish, and then the other one kind of has a shiny steel to it. Of course, the names are pretty similar, but you can definitely tell the difference once you get into game. And in usual ELLE fashion, to get this armor, you do have to find a crafting book, but it is inside of Whiterun's Urvasker, so it's pretty easy to craft once you find a crafting book. But if you have a mod like JK's Interiors, that book will be clipped into the floor, so I highly advise just using the add item menu to find the book, and then lore friendly wise crafting the armor. Honestly, this armor probably could work on male characters. But up next we have a mage armor called Woodland Wizard robes. Well, I guess it's not technically an armor, but it is by pull charm, so you know that it features very great HCT as you see by moving in the wind. To get this clothing, you really don't have to have any requirements. You just find it at a forge and then craft it once you have the required crafting materials. No skill perk is required. And while the chest piece doesn't really change, you can also get different options for helmet pieces, like there's an open face one and a closed face one, which I do end up preferring. Bear with me, I have no idea how to say this armor name, but it is by ELLE, and based on translation I'm gonna say Mageali. I could be wrong about saying that, but Google told me that's how you say it. But this features a female only armor that comes with HDT support and also support for 3BA, UBE, and B-Hump if you happen to grab the patches. In usual ELLE fashion, it features multiple color variants, which are all completely cosmetic, offering no advantage over the other, so you can go crazy with that. And also in usual fashion, to craft this set, you have to find a crafting book, which is in Moorside Inn and Morthal. And the best part about it being in Moorside Inn is that I really don't think there's any interior mods that really touch that inn, so it should work out the box. You shouldn't have to use any of that item menu, unless you're lazy like me and added it mid-game to the point where the book probably just flies off into the air because you added it mid-game. Then you have an excuse to using that item menu. But up next we have the mod Azure Knight Armor, which also features a female only armor that is pretty skimpy, but in my opinion it covers just enough to be lore friendly. But the best part about this armor, as you can see, is the glowing light effects that it applies to the gauntlets, the boots, and part of the cape if you're paying attention to anything besides the body. And also I wanted to point out, even though I do mention that this armor is skimpy, I have nothing against it because this is definitely one of the favorite armors that I have on this list, just mainly due to the originality of it having the glowing effects applied to the armor, rather than it just being strictly skimpy. It still looks cool. To get this armor, you do have to craft it, and you find the crafting book inside of War Maidens inside of Whiterun. Unless you have a mod overhauling that interior, then add item menu as mentioned tons of times before. But up next we have the mod Sellsword Armor, featuring a female only light armor that comes with a variety of colors, and also it has its own unique daggers for each different color variant of the armor. This armor, besides featuring multiple colors, also features support for every major body inside of Skyrim, from 3BA to even the original predecessor of CBBE and UNP, for those that still use that for some odd reason. And unlike the Master Thief armor by the same mod author, this one is not integrated into Skyrim as a replacer for anything, but if you really want to see this on NPCs, you can look under requirements and grab some of the Skypatched or Spit files. I definitely recommend Skypatcher, but if you prefer, go with Spit. And to get this armor, all you have to do is craft it at the Skyforge. No special reason for doing that, as the mod page states. It just makes it easier to monitor mods. And that was pretty much it for today, guys. I plan on making a more updated version of this with the more underrated armors, but these are some of my favorite ones that I have reviewed and ended up loving without running into too many problems. If you end up enjoying, hit that like button down below, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Peace and love, guys.